Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening to distinguished speakers, Professor Gihan, Mrs. Shaminda Perera, Mr. K.V. Kuganathan. To start off the program, we'll call Mr. Professor Gihan, CEO of BSc Domain Registry and Domain Registrar, to give an introduction of BestWeb.lk competition and how to register for BestWeb 2022 competition. Over to you, sir.
Professor, you are muted, Professor.
Oh, I'm sorry. Right. So good evening, everybody, and thank you, Jacinta. And thank you, everyone, for coming for this. So even on this difficult days with the 10-hour power cut. And thank you, all of you, for taking the time to come. So I don't know whether you have already participated in our initial webinar on the BestWeb, but just in case you haven't, let me introduce what is BestWeb.lk competition. So as you know, any company or any organization, it doesn't have to be a company, a government organization, not-for-profit company, or even an individual, if you want people to know what you are doing, generally the first place they look at is your website, because it has become the de facto standard that if you want to know about a place, you go to their website. Now, when you say website, of course, it could be on a mobile app or it could be something else, but basically we look at this website. And it has become the public face of your organization. And in fact, it's not only the public face, it is now the place where people come and work with you. It is not just only coming and getting some information. It is everything that you want to do with that organization, which a customer or any other person wants to do with that organization, you can currently do on the website. So it has become the public face, and in fact today more and more people are not even visiting any company or a government organization, anything physically. They do all their work online. And how do they do their work? Very often on a website. And we noticed as the domain registry that many of the domains we register are being used for websites. And we found that some of them, so we started this in 2007, about 14 years ago. We found that people were using developing very nice websites, but at the same time, we found that many of them were not getting recognized. In fact, there was a perception in the country that Sri Lankan websites are not good and that foreign websites are much better. But we, as a domain registry, we saw that that's not necessarily true, that there are a lot of very good websites, but they were not being recognized. So we decided to set up this competition where good, high quality local websites can get recognized. So what did we do? We found a very good judge panel. So Mr. Kuganathan, who is here, is one of our judges from, I think, from the inception, and many other people. And also we formed an internal team to look at the websites and have a registration systems and all of that and encourage. So the first few years we had maybe 100, 200, 300 people joining, but lately we have been having well over 500 people, and I believe this year too we will have maybe well over 500 people registering and taking part in this BestWeb competition. And we look at 4 different main areas in the webinar, sorry, not in the webinar, in the competition. We look at the content of the website, how good it is, then how well it looks, the look and feel and the navigation, Then we look at security, which is going to be the focus of today's webinar. And then we look at legal aspects, privacy, and copyright, and several other issues. So all of these are clearly mentioned on our website, www.bestweb.lk. And so if you want to know how your website is going to be evaluated, it's no problem at all. You can do so by coming to our website, and all the details of how it's being evaluated are there. And again, our registrations will open in April, and it will close about a month later in the middle of May. And hopefully by that time we will actually have more power than we have now, so that people can actually come to websites 24 hours a day. But anyway, so you can register online, and then everything is online, so we don't have to, just like the website itself, everything you do online. So those details are all there in the website. And also we had the webinar, the launch webinar, where we talked about all the details. The videos of that are available, and they will be shared on the chat. Also they are there on our website, the BestWeb website, as well as the Facebook page, so you can go there. And so please, if you missed that webinar, please you can follow the videos. And also we have them in so yesterday we had the one on how to create a winning website, right? Yes. No, sorry, so this is the one on how to create the winning website. Yesterday we had the one on, not yesterday, on Monday we had
to secure website.
How to do the secure website. Sorry, I got confused. So on Monday we had a webinar on how to create a secure website. Again, those videos are either, I think some of them are already there, but others will put within the day or two. And today's one is, sorry, I made a mistake, is how to create a winning website, where we look at what you should have in your website to get a gold or a silver or a bronze. And also we will look at what are the issues which prevented certain organizations from getting a website. So I know, a couple of years ago, there was a very good site, and they would have actually got a gold, but they had one fatal flaw, right? And we decided that, okay, with that flaw, we cannot get a gold, so they got a merit or something. But if they had actually fixed that one thing, they would have probably got a gold. So it's very, very important that you understand what might prevent you from getting a gold or a silver. And I think Kuganathan and Shaminda and all these people will tell us about how to do that, right? So that's basically about our thing. So welcome to this, and I will hand you back to Jacinta to continue the session.
Thank you, sir. Now, to move forward, Mr. Shaminda Perera, CEO of Lithium Technologies, and also the BestWeb.lk 2021 gold winner, will explain how to create a winning website and e-commerce website. Over to you, Mr. Shaminda.
Thank you, Ms. Jacinta. Hopefully, I hope, can you hear me, Ms. Jacinta?
Yeah, yes, you are very clear.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Yes. So I'll just put my presentation up for starters. Ms. Jacinta, can you see the presentation?
Yes, it's there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So thank you, Professor, for this invitation and for this opportunity. And I would like to thank LK Domain Registry and BestWeb team and Ms. Jacinta for this organizing these events and taking their best effort and to take this industry forward. So from my humble opinion, I'll just give you some insights from my experience and what sort of a thing, what sort of considerations, and how one would do a winning website for the best web competition, as well as for your client or your organization moving forward. So what will I do? So next is of course me and my company won the Best Web 2021, Best Web Developer 2021. So that's a great deal. That was a great deal for us. So we got a lot of recognitions and opportunities because of this. So we are very thankful for that. And so I just since all the discussions has to be aligned to something, so I took the criteria as a guideline and put some and categorize them into several areas that I would use as guides for my presentation. So one is completeness. So in my perspective now, I not in the perspectives of the judge panel, but in a developer's perspective, the completeness, how you can develop a complete website so that every aspect, the information aspect and the technological aspect, all those, how those are made, completeness. Then the standards, how the world is moving forward and how we are going to comply with these standards and the earlier standards, the standards with the past, which the industry is based on, and what sort of standards, how we can adapt to upcoming standards. Then performance, then of course all the server side, website, and the browser performance. Then quality and quantity of content and information. Then simply some guidelines on doing e-commerce sites. So first I'll quickly elaborate on completeness. So there are two axes. One is information and function. There can be too much information and too much function, and there can be less not enough information and not enough function in a website. So that's one thing. Then there is quantitative aspect and the qualitative aspect. Then say example, you have a lot of images. Now they can be quality images on a good device. It will show I mean on a PC or a wide screen or web TV, those kind of, it will show great, but in a mobile it will not show as much because the loading time and those stuff. So that sort of thing. So there are two axes for everything. So one is technological and then informational, then qualitative and quantitative. Then so first, as you can see in the hopefully in the side, clear site architecture. Now architecture has to be very clear, and the structure, content structure, paragraph, bullets, image, alignment, padding, and where to find specific information, corporate logo, navigation bar, and the menus. So that site architecture goes from goes everywhere in the site. So when somebody that's content architecture. So images and text, how they are aligned, and those stuff. Then that's architecture. Then there is technological architecture. What sort of content delivery and those kind of server sites stuff also. But those come to under performance. So mainly clear site architecture. Products are located here. Product categories are in this place. When you want to go find something, there is search facilities as well as category navigation. So that kind of stuff is the site architecture. Basically, the hierarchical structure of the content is important when designing a site. Then the functions also have to have some structure. For example, if you go to a banking site or SLT or mobile or whatever telecommunication site, what happens? They have corporate and personal. Those products are well categorized. So that's the site architecture. So when somebody goes into the business section or personal section, the products are presented on that one. Then the functions of the websites, payments, billing, those are also allocated on that specific structure. Then the navigation is also clear. Then depth of navigation. Of course, when you are, if you have like maximum is 2 levels after the home page. You know, when you click 2 links, within 2 links, clicks the maximum length usually nowadays is that. Then otherwise, the customer will be lost and it will be difficult to find what the content is. So maximum level is 2 levels. If you have another functionalities, for example, as I said, user portals, customer portals, those kind of stuff, of course, those have to be, again, after logging in, those links also has to be 2 levels down, not more than 2 levels down. So then you can have, after doing that, you can have site map validators, SEO checkers, and broken link checkers, those kind of stuff too. There are a lot of stuff to tools to check on the the validity of your website. Then there is information in the multilingual or Sinhala Tamil in our case mostly. So those pages has to be complete. For example, if there is something in English, the same thing must be in Sinhala and Tamil. Now, for example, if we have like a 500-word paragraph in English, but 2 or 3 lines in Tamil, that won't do. Usually, you have to have mirror images of the content, translations in the site. So every page, we have to have parallel content. So if we have a banner, the banner must be, usually this is since we follow some higher standards, because even when we put a banner, we try to put it in Sinhala, Tamil and English versions. If you log into some of our trilanguage site, so that's that we consider. And every tooltip, every icon, link, everything, even the URLs, the address bar, URLs, the titles, those or everything we transform for multilingual. So that's information and content. So now the capacity and the quantity aspect of that is, of course, you have to control very effectively. For example, if you have products, the technical, if you are selling, say, computer parts, it's very difficult to translate to English and language, every word and every tooltip. But a reasonable level, you have to consider converting every aspect of that into multilingual features. So, of course, the user will benefit greatly on that, and it's also good for SEO. If you're somebody searching now, since the net is more Unicode based, so everybody can search even a single phrase and get the search results. Then user friendliness, the information has to be very user friendly and consistent. So usually we use Google Webmaster Tools, and our content developers use Grammarly and those kind of tools to fine tune, I mean not fine tune, but get started down. And before it's a content pipeline is a because we have professionals and also our guys, I mean the content team pre-prepares the content before we present into professionals. So there is a content pipeline going on. So that has to be usually, even a single web developer can do that. He himself can do the research, and of course somehow he get a basic translation out of Google or something, and he can present it to a zone translation after, or the in-house translator to do the fine tuning. So a human touch is also always required. The human touch is always required to give a good, to produce good content. Okay, then we have technical aspects, technology functions. Of course, broken links, blank pages, those can be technical stuff. Okay, the navigate those can be found using online tools and such. So SEO tools usually, GT metrics, Google, there are every tool scans for broken links and blank pages and minimum content pages. No, for example, if there's news pages, they usually put only an image because the developer or somebody doesn't know what to type in. Okay, but usually at least 1 or 2 lines of words is, after the image there should be some content, readable content, giving context to the image. Otherwise it will be just a news image or a gallery or something. So likewise, minimum content pages, you have to avoid minimum content, pages. Then you can check using SonarQube or those W3C, those kind of tools to qualitatively validate your code and those kind of stuff. Then you can use Selenium and Catalan and those kind of stuff to automate afterwards. If you have an e-commerce site, you can automate and regularly check your checkout processes and those kind of stuff. So qualitatively, technical, now usually we consider even the product information as technical information. For example, if a product has a print, how many pages, how many GSM, the paper GSM maximum, those kind of technical information, payment information, shipping information, packaging, terms and conditions, all those are technical information that is relevant to different disciplines. Maybe legal, maybe logistics, maybe those have different disciplines. Those are also technical. So those have to be complete in a website. If you have a product, the specification must be there. If you are doing shipping, the shipping information must be there. So those are completeness. That's completeness of the completeness of information. Okay, so that's one aspect. Then standards. Of course, we have a lot of standards nowadays. Security standards, of course, we as Prof said, we had a different seminar, I guess. Then responsive, these kind of standards are now mandatory because the technology is improving and the competition is improving, and so businesses and people more rely on more web-based products and services, and even to communicate with other people. So it's day-to-day life. So standards must be there. Okay, if you have a chair, for example, you expect the chair to have 4 legs and not to wobble, move around when you sit. So likewise, a website have standards to be used by current year, because nowadays everybody is I don't know about I have no comments about the status of the country, but everybody is it's focused on living quality of life. So having a good standards implemented in a website will have a good will provide the users with good experience at the end of the day. Since they are consuming a lot of digital information, it will be good. It will directly benefit to their quality of life. Now I'll say one thing is responsive design. So there are a lot of devices. So a responsive design is a must, and there are standard sizes, but nowadays there are a lot of devices. So checking for those stuff is important. Then device compatibility, browser compatibility, of course, those standards must be met. Then W3C conformance, the HTML and CSS standards. Then there are accountability and legal standards. If you are providing a product or a service, there are certain requirements. So even if you are sending an email, there is a proper legal terms have to be put on the bottom to satisfy those needs, legal needs. So nowadays, since everybody, as I said, focusing on quality of life, these legal and accountability, that aspects must be there. So contact details of your sales department, support department, the delivery information, and those has to be communicated via email or SMS. So I'll come to those stuff. So accountabilities, there are in many aspects. So there should be responsibility communicated through the website. Then accessibility. Of course, we have the traditional accessibility tools for people with blindness or difficulty in hearing or those kind of stuff. So there are general tools such as narration, high contrast displays, and then mouse and keyboard assistance, those kind of stuff. There are a lot of coming up stuff. They even, not even for disabled people. Nowadays, we have night mode. If you are driving, if you are using Google Maps, there are night mode or dark mode. No, that's for us. We are not, even for us, those tools are very useful. So a website nowadays has support for night mode versions and like that. So so those accessibility features are very important. Then of course I talked about policies, the security and terms and conditions and those kind of stuff has to be there. Then you of course you have to also, follow when developing the OSAP standards and safeguard the stakeholders. I mean the business and the customer. You have as a web developer, we have the responsibility of safeguarding their information at the information, their website functionality, their reputation and everything, and also safeguarding their way of life, their quality of life. If they are using monthly to pay the bills using your website, if they are regularly using your website, they are dependent on your website. So we have to provide have to consider their quality of life, what impacts would the daily users, if you are running a news website or if you are running something else, what sort of daily impact will the website have. So of course security is a major concern nowadays. Then of course you can use to check the W3C markup validation, web accessibility validation tool. There it's also available in W3C. Then Google Lighthouse, that's there, that checks SEO, mobile usability, accessibility, everything. Then GT metric, that's also use those kinds. Then we have security testing tool. I'm not going to enumerate those tools, but of course the first place to go to is OSAP tools. So you can start from there. Then of course there's our standards. Then we have performance. Of course, to my humble opinion, there are three. Everything is I say to my humble opinion. So there are three aspects when we consider, as we in my practice, I and our company, we consider three aspects, technical aspects, highly technical aspects on improving performance. One is server, the second is the browser, and the third is the rendering. Okay, let me elaborate. So one is server side, of course, minimum processing. When you are presenting some information to the client, the first thing is do minimum processing. there are several techniques to do that. One is caching and pre-process data, or pre-compile when the users are not, the server is not busy at night or something. You find a slot and you can. Those are very complex. But one thing is, the objective is minimum processing when you are presenting a website. This is especially important for e-commerce sites, e-services sites. This is very important because when there is a lot of traffic, user logins, and you have to provide personalized experience. Okay, when if you have a service site, user login, say you are billing site or something, a telephone bill or light bill or whatever, electricity bill or those kind of stuff. You have to provide personalized. So a lot of database queries are going here and there. So minimum processing, that's important from the server side. Then caching, of course, images, static HTML, static CSS, then JavaScript, those there. Then there is the concept deferred loading. So if you now the new technology, Kuganathan and those kind of stuff. So if you have, you can have a static technical what you call technical code load on a separate platform or a separate thread. So that okay, so that's deferred loading. So that's a new technology. That's a consideration. You can Google these things. So I'm not going to elaborate. So there are a lot of stuff going on. Then use a CDN, content delivery network. So you can set up 2 servers by yourself, but it's not a content delivery network. But you can have 7 subdomains and you can load content on a different using a different server. So it will not use your main server's processing power. Or you can have a cloud content delivery network that will speed up and improve performance if you have high traffic website. Then minimum database access and object databases. Those are concepts that are surely improve your server performance. So this is the main objective is getting a quick load time. Okay. Then we have the browser. Of course, one is DOM load speed. Document object model. DOM stands for document object model. So DOM, if you have a large HTML file, megabytes of HTML loading into your browser, it will have a hard time decoding that. Now it's a human readable language, no HTML. So it has to convert that to computer language in simple terms. So it will take a lot of time to process that amount of HTML. So what you do, you have to reduce the tag count, style count, number of styles. Now, if you are wondering why Google is so plain, it's white, it has 1 or 2 Google logo and several images loading at a time. Why is that? That's the DOM speed. They have a lot of traffic and they are optimized for serving, availability, redundancy, those kind of stuff they are focusing. So they have the minimum stuff. So we can't, as the service websites and those kinds of stuff, they must have. But if you go to corporate sites, and it's not a major requirement. But DOM load speed is very important when you are serving thousands of customers. Then image load speed, of course. This depends on if you are using mobile or desktop PC or high bandwidth, low bandwidth stuff, mobile connection. So and device. So image speed, load speed. Now we usually in our practice, we usually load different images for different devices. We have like 300, 400 by 400 for mobile, 1000 by 1000, whatever about for tabs, and HD, full HD or HD 920, those kind of stuff for higher resolution. We have several versions of serving. We are serving several versions of images for different web devices based on their performance. And so in a web TV or a widescreen computer, we can definitely give a good quality image. And of course, they will have a fiber optic cable or something. So that's that. Then CSS and JavaScript. If you are installing a lot of plugins, lot of add-ons, you are including a lot of libraries. make sure you are including the minified versions of CSS and JS, JavaScript, and number of files loaded, number of CSS files, number of JavaScript files loaded in your website. That's important. So that's directly affects browser performance. So then the CPU RAM of the device. So that's important. Then the image size is important, as I said. Then the text length. Now text is, as you say, you might imagine very simple thing. No text. If you take Notepad, it also works. You can type 1,000 and 1,000 words, but text is very calculation. Text rendering text requires a lot of calculation. So if you are presenting in a mobile device or something, so you have to have small chunks of text, not lot of text, small chunks of text. Otherwise, it will take a lot of time to render the page. Then, of course, the rendering. There are several concepts. One is first content paint. That means what is the first content that you see on your website. Now, when you type the URL, what's the first thing you see on the website? You have to show that as soon as possible. Okay. If it's the banner and the navigation bar and the banner, usually it's the navigation bar and the banner. The first thing before doing any SQL calculations or user logins or whatever, so minimum you have to show that session initialize. So you have to optimize for first content paint, so it will greatly improve performance. Then now it will take about 2 seconds for the for 1 second or 1.5 seconds for the user to scroll down. Okay, that's a lot of time in computer terms. So in that time you can load the rest, right? You don't have to load the rest of the website. You can only load the first contentful page, but the screen full of information. Then when the user, you have 1 second or something to load the second one. So that's the thing we optimize for on large scale websites having loaded. Then largest contentful page. So the bigger the elements, text elements, image elements, the bigger they are, it takes longer to perform. Nowadays we have animation and stuff. So those are very heavy loads on a website. So in the first page, the first appearing page, you have to avoid animation and those kind of stuff. I'm not talking about video or whatever. I mean JavaScript animation, CSS animation, those kind of processor intensive stuff you have to minimize. So that's the largest contentful paint that you can Google and get instructions on how to do this. There are tools and other stuff to monitor whether you have done a good job or not on optimizing those. Then number of total tags. As I said, if you have a lot of tags, that's a large. If you have thousands and thousands of HTML tags, that's a large document. The computer has to process that. It will take a long time. Depth of nesting, depth of tags within tags. So it will go when you have HTML tags within HTML tags within HTML. If you are having loops, lot of loops and recursion on your HTML, that will affect your rendering performance. Then of course minimize JavaScript, minimize the JavaScript animations. If you need, please go for CSS animation or canvas elements or those kind of stuff you can optimize for. Then there is WebGL and those kind of advanced features. So you can research those and improve. If it's a critical website you are doing, you can improve performance on rendering. Then of course quality and quantity. This is the fourth topic. The quality, of course, based on user experience. So translation. Now the biggest problem is translations. So usually, as I said, as a web developer or a company, you have to have a pipeline, content pipeline. The approval process and well as the translation process is part of that pipeline. So as a web developer, if you are single administrator or somebody, of course, you have to first of all collect the content, the images, the text, and those time. And as your best approximation, you have to do as best as you can. You can optimize those as best you can. You can use Google Translate or Grammarly or something and do that, and then present it to a professional. then you can speed up your content delivery. And of course, if you have a news article, it's pointless publishing it after 2 or 3 days, because when you are publishing on the website, the company CEO or the head of department or somebody has already posted that news in Facebook or Instagram. So you are always step behind. So content delivery, you have to do it quickly. That's the quantity. I mean, quickly, you have to do it quickly. And of course, you have to have a quality pipeline to validate your content. Then of course, copyright. Of course, I think Professor Gihan always mentions that. So copyright is also a concern. So that the purchasing of images, those have to be done in a quickly manner. And of course, then context, the relevancy of information. So you must have images that is relevant to what you are going to express. So the images and those the text, images, products all have to be related. So that must be there. Then the accuracy of the information. So it's very difficult to actually monitor, because the specifications are dependent on the product or the website, but the accuracy of the information must be validated. You must have sources. Your source, if you are a journalist, if you are running for example, if you are running a news website, it's very easy. There's in journalism, you have these sources. You have to mention sources and those kind of stuff. So accuracy and of the information is very important. If you are selling a product, the product specification is very important. So it will improve the user experience, user expectations, and it will reduce complaints and the communication overheads of your sales department or the administration. So that is very important, accuracy. Then creativity. Of course, it's a whole separate topic. The creativity must be delivered in a rich way. Okay, so nowadays the sites must be very simple, because everybody is on a hurry. So they have to go to work, they have to look after their children, then they have to also pay the bills online. So what happens is that creativity must have, one thing is you have to have the visual and the information as well as technical creativity, in my opinion. For example, the quickest way to make a person understand what's going on, maybe an infographic, maybe a step-by-step guide, or maybe introduction video or whatever. The creativity must be there for the information itself and the delivery of the information. Then the information must be rich in color and match to the theme, and it must be flawless with the story that the website is saying. So richness of the information is also important. So after visiting your website, especially your information website, the customer must have something, have a good taste. After, I mean, if you are going to a restaurant, after you eat, you have to have a memory. So make sure your website leaves a memory, good memory in the user's mind. Second, another one is visual, images, infographics, videos, and animations. Of course, those have to be quality. The resolution, pixel size have to be compared with the device resolutions and the width, height, then the cropping area, then if you are alignments, padding, margins, those have to be consistent. I mean, since now the displays are very high quality, high resolution, even a pixel difference, customers see a little oddity. I mean, they might find that odd if a pixel or two is missing. So the visual aspect, continuity, design, discipline on the design has to be maintained on each page. Then textual, the text, spelling and grammar, of course, they are very keen on that nowadays. So spelling and grammar, of course, you have to express your products and company information in a correct way. So that's there. And it's international, it's getting, you are addressing the world, not only Sri Lanka, not only your customers, you are addressing the world. So spelling and grammar is important, even Sinhala Tamil, those are important. Then font size, of course, it's mobile devices, you can't have small fonts. Then units, even the EM unit, the unit, don't use PX, maybe PT is okay, EM units, those are good. So use consistent font size and font units, scaling units. So it will automatically, nowadays browsers are very intelligent, so they will, if you use the correct unit, it will do the anti-aliasing and those complex rendering tasks correctly on smaller or tabs or mobile devices. Then the difference between paragraph fonts and title fonts, that's important. Now, of course, your font might be good in title, H1 tag, big text. If you have a news article for the news topic, it will be great. But if you scale down the font to the reading paragraph size, it will not display correctly on your mobile device or stuff. So the distinction, you have to use paragraph fonts and title fonts different. If you go to Google Fonts, please check whether it's a paragraph fonts or a title font. If you use a title font on a paragraph, on a device, it will won't be readable. Then spacing and padding, paragraph line height and those kind of stuff are very important for readability. So that's the quality and aspect. So we have a huge quality assurance. We have quality assurance, quality now in our process, we have quality assurance with working with the developer. Then we have quality check for our websites and our systems also. Quality check, whether it's a checklist that we follow. Then we have pre-launch checks before launching websites, and we have ongoing checks. If a user updates a website, we regularly visit and see what they have updated. So otherwise, if an administrator change or the IT department change in an organization, they won't be continuing the standards or the quality of the website. So we have to keep touch with the client, touch with the IT department, and if we have to train the new coming staff, and as a company we do that. We train the new staff and IT administrator on their weak points. So to find the weak points, we usually monitor the websites regularly, and if they are do update and it's not to our standard, we call them up and schedule the training. So that's how we usually quality and quantity. We have pipelines and standards. So that's how we manage them. So then we have e-commerce. This is the last topic. E-commerce website. We have a product and service. Then presentation. Then transaction. Yes. So for the product and service, now products are different from services when it comes to a website. So they have different processes. So let's say I'll first discuss about products. So product images, those has to be there and informative. You can have, if you are advanced, if you have the budget, you can have 3D walkthroughs or model. If you are doing real estate, you can have model houses, those kind of stuff. You can have walkthroughs or what you call 3D panoramic views and those kind of stuff. If you are a hotel or something, you can have product images. Those are all product images. So those have to be there to give the real experience as much as possible to the customer. Then, of course, the technical details. As I expect, if you are going to product, the technical details has to be there clearly. This helps the customer to compare products and also helps the customer to select the best product that's suited to their needs. And also, it will reduce disputes when sales and e-commerce transactions happen and when things go wrong. Then delivery information. As best now, even those. Even Grasshopper and those the delivery platform all provide the exact delivery dates. Or hopefully they provide in agreement, of course, the exact delivery dates for per district, per city. So you can incorporate those stuff into your website and inform the customer with that. And you can also use SMS and email to track, keep the customer informed of their delivery. Then of course payment options. You can have multiple banks or multiple payment options, pay on delivery, payment, pay to bank account, those kind of stuff, cash deposit, those kind of stuff. You can have payment options. So that's a really good feature for customers nowadays, because every level of citizen in Sri Lanka now getting into e-commerce. So using e-commerce. So they might have a credit card, or they might not have a credit card. They even might not have a bank account. So every level of only has his phone. So there are easy cash and those kind of stuff. So you can, as much as possible, you have to provide payment options. Then terms and conditions, they must be, of course, there are international standards nowadays for presenting with the product. You have to have the summary and then the fine print. So that's how you have to have summary and the fine print. That's how the thing works. So if you, the delivery terms, the terms of use, the return policy, cashback policy, those have to be clearly stated. Privacy and those kind of stuff have to be clear. Then the country and the world is moving to digital products and digital services. So you have to plan, if you are doing a website to your company or another company, you have to plan how much is the entire product can be delivered digitally. For example, education, it can be delivered entirely on digitally. Software in early days, it can be license, updates, those can be delivered online entirely. Education, then consultancy, those kind of whatever product you have to see as much as possible how much you can digitize the product. So that's very important nowadays, because the commodity prices, the tangible goods are getting pricey, and of course the resource consumption on delivery and logistics and all those stuff are getting high. So digitizing the product, or taking your product to a digital platform as much as possible is very efficient. Then of course presentation, of course shopping carts, you have to present in a understandable. You have to be update your order, update and modify your order, add new items, remove items. You have to have a confirmation before checkout. Those are important. Then gamification, gamify. Now it's we are now catering to generation X or generation Z or those kind of guys. So they are familiar with games. They are familiar with quick rewards, coupon codes, bonus points. I don't know, in the game experience points, I don't know, but gamification is a very important aspect on today's IT industry and communicating with the coming generations. So you have to plan on gamifying your e-commerce website. So if you buy, you have some star points or customer points or whatever you have, you get. So the purchasing has to be intensified. I mean, they have to be given an incentive to do the purchasing again, and they have to be given incentive for each action. So that's catering to the new generation using the e-commerce platform. So that's actually a requirement nowadays. Otherwise, they will find it boring and dull, and they will just forget after their purchase. So it's an incentive there. Providing an incentive will keep your customer quite a long time. Then checkout process. So checkout process is a lot of website checkout process is very cumbersome in Sri Lanka, but the checkout process has to be simple, 1 or 2 steps: shopping cart, confirmation, payment, and delivery. That's it. Anything more than that is unnecessary. If you can have even a 1 or 2 step checkout process, that will be much better. So checkout process must be there, and in the checkout process, if a customer have abandoned the cart, abandon the purchase, and if he returns again, it's a good feature. If you can present the earlier cart, you have a earlier purchase you have planned, so would you like to continue your purchase? That kind of message is great. So that kind of checkout process you have to optimize and keep. Now, for example, keeping the email addresses, telephone numbers, even if the customer didn't purchase your product, you can send. Of course, you have a shopping cart waiting. You have your laptop waiting. Would you like to purchase it? We have stock. That kind of message you can send, even if they don't plan the complete the checkout. So checkout process is a very important thing nowadays to gamify and the gamification and providing digital product. The checkout process must be optimized very well because it's a busy world and people have to be satisfied very quickly. Then the transparent, then we got to transaction, then the transparency. Of course, every step has to be communicated to the customer via email and SMS or whatever media you have. If you have a customer portal, you should have a copy of the email and SMS, whatever you have sent in the customer portal also. This is the SMS we have said, this is the emails we have said, and this is the invoices, receipts we have said. For every customer, as a default, send an invoice or a receipt. So that's a standard. Then the traceability, that's important. The order number, item number, those kind of stuff must be there. So the administrators has to be taught. They have to be taught to not to overwrite item numbers. For example, if you have 1001 for hot dogs, so then what happens? We are out of hot dogs. We are selling now donuts. What's happened? The administrator goes and change hot dogs to donuts. So that kind of things happen. So you have to have clear discipline on managing items and order numbers to be a good e-commerce website and provide a good service to the customer and prevent confusion and disputes. Then of course security. Of course there was a separate session, so I'm not going to elaborate much, but HTTPS is compulsory and hashing data. If you can, please don't send the information to the host browser, even the configuration and those kinds of. So you have to hash data. If you are sending to the browser, you have to always hash the data. You have to have checks to, if the customer is sending back what you have sent, you have to always have a hashing and a check to verify the browser information, the information then customer sent, especially if you are checking out and customer has changed something else in the process or some hacking happened. You have to always check the consistency of your data or the forms. There's CRFC, I think memory is little cloudy, but cross-site request forgery, those kind of stuff you have to check for those. Then those are must be there. So hashing data is very important. Then sessions, you have to safeguard browser sessions. As I said, session hijacking and those cross-site attacks and cookie stealing, those kind of stuff happen. So you have to safeguard as much as possible. So that's the last of my slides I prepared for today. So hope this would enlighten you with some information on creating a winning website. Of course, for best web competition as well as for your company and your clients, it will be a winning situation. It will be a win, win, and a win. So I would like to thank Professor Gihan for giving me this opportunity and to letting me express my opinions on and my way of thinking of this discipline. And I thank Jacinta for organizing this event. I don't know, Jacinta, I can hand over to you. If there are a question session, if no, I can just hand over to you, I guess.
Yeah, this, thank you very much, Mr. Shaminda. And indeed, a very valuable elaboration. So let's move on to the other session, and thereafter we can have this FAQ session. Hope it is okay, Mr. Shaminda.
Okay, that's okay.
Okay.
Thank you
Okay,
very
let's
much.
go to now. Let's move on to the next session. It is Mr. K.V. Kuganathan, Chief Information Officer, Janashakthi Group of Company, will explain how to attract your information and market your goods. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Jacinta, and good afternoon to you all. And thank you so much, Professor Gihan and Jacinta, for the opportunity to share some of the knowledge with you all today. As Mr. Shamindra has explained to you all, and he has shared a very, very valuable knowledge with you all to explore wonderful things, how to win sessions going forward. Is I'm audible? Am I audible? Is fine. The knowledge, the sound is great. Hello.
Yes.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay, fine. Okay. So, friends, what the next couple of minutes would like to concentrate is, it is like how you are going to brand or position your website. And from the judging point of view, what are the points it is important to score more marks so that we want each one of you to aim to get a gold so that it's very important. So one more thing is, friends, at this junction with this macroeconomic level, what is happening around us, it is don't think too much on that. This is the time you have to, it's like an eye of the storm. During the storm, you have to find out that spot of yourself, of your organization, and you have to come out of this challenging time. And this is the time and opportunity to market and brand your product in a way so that it is flourish your organization or individual people, those around you, and to bring more benefit. If you take any sector these days, we are going to have a next 1 year or 2 years time, we are going to face this tough time around us. So we have to encourage our staff members, our organizations to reach the bottom level profit to go high. So how that is possible is, very important thing is the gate, the opening gate and the front, it is very important. So friends, if I'm sure every one of you all to ensure that your house, you will keep your house, the front always what? Clean and look fabulous. Why? That's the entrance to ensure, like according to the different religious aspect, this called the entrance is very key success to ensure that you keep something unique. It should be very attractive. It should be something prosperative. So these things are very important in your organizations or in your own website. The entrance to any organizations is a website. That is the one. Even if I wanted to know about the product, even if I wanted to invest the bank or know about the insurance or know about the manufacturing, anything, what anybody will do is will go and check the website. So friends, it's very important thing is, so you as a team, everybody should concentrate on a super website development. It is not only possible by the marketing department or the IT department, no. It is a collaborative effort of the different department, and you all should have the brainstorming session and how to position your product and services in a way where I am the users or to any of the thing people are those are coming to your website can easily find out what he or she is want very quickly and very attractive. Okay, it is I always consider the wow factor. The first impression is very important. Or by seeing you a sexy lady or a handsome boy, you say, oh wow, fantastic. Then again you will look like this. If it's a sexy girl or sexy boy, still that is the impression you all should create when you are designing your website in a first level impression. So that is very important, friends. When you are creating the first page, it is very, very key success. And it should be, the first page should be with a minimum level of information, but very attractive. Attractive can be with different UI UX concept, different design, something wow factor. I have seen some of the website, they have put that curve menu, something where you make it something different and uniqueness. And it should be meaningful with your organization or with your individual aspect. And it should fulfill your purpose of that organization. I'm repeating the word. It should be fulfill your purpose of your organization. So that is very important when you are developing the website. And it should have a very nice, uniqueness continuation going forward. If you look from the judging point of view, how we are marking, so our markings is the criteria is we will first we will go for a technical, as Shaminda indicated. First we will see the completeness. We will give 10 marks, and out of 10 marks we will have some other marking criteria on the completeness. We will these are the points, friends, you also to ensure the completeness, the contact information, the recent update, feedback, searching facilities, whether everything is there. So that is we'll consider under the completeness. Then under the navigation, it should be simple URL. Then if you put a word like, say for example, my name is say Kuganathan Bishwamuda.com. Just imagine if you give the URL like that. If I make one mistake, so it should be very simple URL. Menu should be very understanding, no broken links, links to homepage. I will tell you one of the success of the iPhone. When Steve Jobs, when he developed the iPhones those days, the user experience is for him. He will do the UAT. He will hand over the iPhones to 6 years and 7 years old. They are the people who will understand. If they can understand the menu and if they can understand how to navigate, that's when he knows that's a success. So anybody should be able to access and can understand the menus is very important. So that is one of the very key success for you all. Then other one is, as indicated, the standards. Please ensure you properly maintain the standards. Still we give the 10 marks out of that. Very important thing is performance. As indicated last time, it should be more than any good website, should be more than less than 6 seconds should be the loading page. And there are website, the performance websites are there. You can do a kind of a trial of the where you can load your website. It will give you the A, B, C, D category. And to ensure, you have to always aim for an A category of performance. So please load your, there are a lot of website, the performance indicators are there. Please load your website to ensure your each and every pages loading, everything is very quick. So that's still we give the 10 marks out of that. Then we'll be moving on to design aspect. Then for that, again, we will be start giving 10 marks that on the site design. We are looking the graphics, the the clear site architecture, site navigation, user friendliness, consistency. It should be a consistency. Suddenly you bring a luminous color, suddenly it's going to the dark color, dark. No, it should be a very consistency. So it's like a storyboard, very, very consistency in each and every aspect. The headers and footers and menus should be very uniquely, nicely designed. And you are not feeling, I like to be with that. So that is a concept you have to give that. Then the page design should be very easy. That means page structure, layout, good use of fonts, font size is very important. You use sometimes the continuous letter where I can understand it. So please ensure that the simplicity is very important. And availability of help. Anytime if I want to do any page, I should be able to head the help, or I should be able to go to the home page. So please ensure that that simplicity is maintained all time. Then next very important points is the content. So that's again, we have the quality and the quantity. So both we will give the 10 marks each. Volume of the content, sufficient for category, quality, accuracy of the completeness, creativity, very, very important. The creativity and richness. If you are having any multimedia, please ensure its richness is maintaining. And spelling and grammar is, friends, very, very, very important. I was working for one of the largest private bank. Our MD's job is when he's waiting for any overseas, when he's visiting, when he's having a time after checkout, his job is to go to this particular website, our bank website, and he will call me and he will send an email, Kugan, these are the spelling mistakes and these are the things. After that, we will be ensuring, I told the secretaries of the MD's secretary, when he's going overseas, our job is to go through each and every page to ensure there's no spelling mistakes and page is perfect. So please do the continuous audit on your website to ensure that there is no mistakes are made at all time. And very important thing is interaction is very important, and privacy and security is very important. Features, password length, etc. is very important, which the e-commerce as Shaminda indicated. And friends, very important thing is we have penalty points also. For what we give penalty points is if there is any copyright violation, please don't copy. And unwanted content, ads or plugins also, we will give you -2 marks. So please ensure, please don't have any copyright violations, unwanted contents, ads or plugins, modules, we will give negative points. So we will give on negative points and we will give the bonus point. Please ensure it is multilingual and accessibility by the disabled persons. So you can bring some new technologies available, you can bring those. And accessibility, use of latest technology to improve the site. There are new things are there, the chatbot, AI-based chatbot, anything you can bring to ensure that you are bringing that the wow factor and awesome impact to that website is very important. And additional features and some of the website, if dynamically changing the contents, whether you have the very strong content management building process. So that's also very important because so that you are not depending on the website, the developers, you can change it through the content manager. So these are some of the points, friends, where you can score very well and you can get a gold, or we want you all to get a gold, very important, friends. So please ensure this is the right time of your organizations to make sure that it is always on top of, above competitors' curve. Why? You have to perform very well during this time, during this pandemic, during this challenging economic time. If you want to continue and do your customers stick to your organization or stick to your product or stick to your services, you should keep your website your entrance of your organization is always up top of the mind. Okay, they should go and tell, I went to that website, it was fantastic, it's easy. So to ensure that for that kind of feelings, you should give to your clients or your stakeholders. So please ensure your the website is always keep it on the high scale of purposeful with your organization's purpose, so that your organization keep on growing, so that we can overcome as a team to a challenging time, so that your bottom line always maintain very high, and you can see your profitability, the customer stickiness, and customer growth is always continue. So friends, this is the right time, spend more time, brainstorm with your team, different department, and have a chat, different skills people. Some of them, what they are done is, you can bring something out of the thinking box people. Some people they bring their who is passionate about the psychology, because they can think something creativity. Those who are interested in the music, those are important in arts, so they can come and give a nice ideas. Why don't you to do like this website menus like this? Sometimes it's spark in a very nicely. So please do a kind of a good website. Is a right time to do that, and review your existing website and develop a fantastic website to ensure you are in the winning team and getting the goal. So all the very best, friends, and keep shining in the BestWeb.lk. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your valuable session. And we have come to a conclusion, but we can, if anyone has any questions, they can raise the questions from Mr. Shaminda and to Mr. Shaminda and to Mr. Kuganathan. Is it okay that they speak in even in Sinhala, so that you can answer the questions, sir?
Yes, please. Singalengo, Demalengo, question එක කාණ්ඩ පුළුවන්. අපි උත්තර දෙන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
Thank you, sir.
So friends, one more thing is, when you're having a time, please go to BestWeb.lk site, and you have the criteria, and see how much, do a small gap analysis with the existing website and the criteria, and how you're going to fulfill it to get the 10 marks in each and every criteria going forward.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening to you.
Sir, I am from Ministry of Defense IT officer. So
Yeah.
I want to know, I didn't attend for last sessions. So I didn't get the links, Google meeting links. So can I get them as a video clips? I found the links, but it's not on there now.
Excuse me, I wish to answer for your question. Please visit BestWeb Facebook page. All the recordings and all the streaming are on Facebook. If you really need to get the links, you can write to me, bestweb@domains.lk, or you can call the phone number what is in bestweb.lk and communicate with me. So I will forward it to you, all the recordings.
Thank you
Hope
very
that
much.
is okay. Okay, thank you. Is there any questions to ask from Mr. Shaminda and Mr. Kuganathan? Please, you can ask now, or you may write on the chat also, so that we can look into the problems and give you a feedback. Since I find there's no questions to answer, can we conclude the session? I think Mr. Kuganathan, Mrs. Shaminda, are you around?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Yes, I think no one wants to ask any questions. This session is already was streaming on Facebook. It is live, so that if anybody want, they can go back and listen to the session.
Okay.
And I wish to thank each and everyone on behalf of LK Domain Registry for the participation, and especially for Mr. Shaminda and Mr. Kuganathan for your valuable service. Mr. Kuganathan always comes for almost all the webinars. Thank you so much, sir. And Mr. Shaminda, thank you so much for you also. And for all the participants, please, you can always check BestWeb.lk website. We will be publishing all the events in it, and go through the, and we will be publishing the link as well in the BestWeb homepage, so that you can participate to this BestWeb competition. Thank you so much. Have a, yes, you can ask the question.
Madam, are you going to conduct another sessions in due course?
Yes, tomorrow a Sinhala session, and day after tomorrow a Tamil session. These are published on blog.domains.lk. Let me put it on the chat. The links are published already. Blog.domains.lk. All simple. You can, one second, I'll retype. Blog.domains.lk. You can see that blog.domains.lk. There's a blog post where the second, when you scroll down to the second post, you will see all the links are there. And if you want to have the link personally to your email address, please write to, one second, let me put the email address also, bestweb@domains.lk. Write to me. In the subject bar, you can say, please send me the link for the webinar, so that I will reply to you. Is everyone clear, and is it okay?
Yes, madam, it's okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.
Can we conclude the meeting now? If everyone is okay, we can conclude it. Thank you so much. Hope to see you all tomorrow. If anybody interested, there'll be session tomorrow in Sinhala, day after tomorrow in Tamil language. You may ask your friends also. If anyone interested, they can participate. Thank you so much. Good night.
Good night to you all. Thank you.
Good night.